So
we might have to have. Can you hear me okay? Because you're really muted. We might have to have. Like I can hear you, but not very well. We might have to have microphone things or something. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you. It's just quiet.
Maybe if I turn up my phone, is that better?
No, it's the same.
Well, I don't know what to tell ya.
No, you're fine. I just
Had enough electronics to deal with the day.
yeah. I just figured I would say something about it. I don't know how any of this works, though. We're just doing it the first time.
We should go live on TikTok. That's where all the good shit happens.
Yeah, we can do that too. Just go live all the places.
Yeah. Go on Twitch. That's where you get the real. Corinne said we should start a Twitch account.
Listen, I barely know how to work the accounts that I have.
Literally. Yeah, we're having enough. We're having enough tech problems. On Twitch, they have less strict guidelines than YouTube and TikTok. Yeah, I know. We on Twitch we could do topless tarot. Yeah, you could. I'm sure Bill would love
Get
that.
them bills paid.
Bills should pay my bills. What the fuck is this hair?
I should go get my little stand for it. Anyway.
So today on Cauldron Chat. What are we talking about? Oh, hexes. That's right. All the excitement going on in the world right now.
All the curses.
Yeah. It's making me hungry. I've eaten like literally like 10 donut holes since I've been home.
Yeah. I've been kind of antsy today for some reason since you left earlier and we did that. Like, I don't know what it is.
Now, maybe that's what my problem is. Maybe I'm just geeking because I'm antsy.
Yeah. That's what it seems to be for me too. It's just being, I don't know.
Do you think it's from the spell work or no? Do you think it's from just whatever?
Sometimes that's what happens after I've been doing a lot of spell work or something, is that I'll get, like maybe I need to ground after or something. Like I don't know what to do with myself. So I'm not actually hungry. My stomach kind of hurts, but I don't know. It's just antsy. There's been a lot of plans. We've been doing a lot of stuff the last couple of days.
I know. It feels like it's like never ending. Not that that's a bad thing, but
yeah.
Maybe that's what my issue is.
Hi. People are saying stuff. I don't think you can see them, huh?
No, I can't see. So you have to.
Yeah.
Can you turn that light on?
This is our first live that we're doing on the channel, so we're kind of testing it out and seeing how it works.
We're just ranting
thank
about
you guys for joining.
Our energy after doing spell work today, so nothing exciting. I mean, it is exciting because I'm sure other people can feel the same, but you know.
You can tell everybody how you're now able to do spell work again. Why don't you tell them that story?
So here's the story. One time, this girl thought she was an all big and powerful witch and blew out her lower 3 chakras, burning down her bloodline. And then went into a void for 3 months, and then couldn't practice magic, couldn't cast, couldn't do anything for 3 whole months. And her business partner, best friend, had to Humpty Dumpty her ass back together. Yeah, it was great.
That's okay. Made it through.
We did make it through.
It was worth it.
I mean, was it though? I guess.
Seems like it so far.
I mean, so far so good. You're right.
Yeah.
All except the whole void part. That was.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Tell them what you did. What you were doing that burned out your chakras.
I was burning away my daddy issues. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. I decided to take it upon myself and burn my entire karma on my paternal lineage. instead of doing like
all in one foul swoop.
Yeah, all in one ritual, like blood on the candle.
We don't recommend it.
We don't recommend it.
Turns out you blow out your chakras when you do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what happens.
0 out of 10. Definitely not recommended. It's not a good idea. I can speak from experience. The void is a terrible place to be, especially when you are gifted and you are flying blind and don't have your gifts available to you. Terrible place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Took a while to even figure out that that's what was going on.
Yeah. Like months. Like I think what was it, like 3 months? Or well, like it was probably like a month and a half, right?
Yeah.
Before we actually figured out what it was.
Yeah.
And then we started to like fix it and do the healing on it. I think
Somebody asked Saitama, can I donate 500? I don't know how to set up any of the donate stuff. I don't know.
What are we doing with $500 to?
It just says 500, so I don't know. I don't even know if YouTube does a
Oh, you know what? I think they have
like stars.
I think they have like fan things, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how any of it works yet, so I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, this is our first live ever.
The first one.
And
yeah.
The kid says you can't send gifts on YouTube, but I know you can on TikTok. Maybe we should start going live on TikTok too.
Yeah, we could do that too. I don't know how to set anything up here. I would have to look and see.
Yeah.
We also, I don't have that many, I think you have to have a certain amount of subscribers or something, or a certain amount of views before they'll let you do.
I don't know, but what y'all can do is share our pages and our content, because
Thank you, Jack.
Bree writes incredible blogs and I just fly by the seat of my pants. So
yeah,
it's pretty much our.
I didn't even put in a description or anything for this one to see about
You should have just put in like YOLO, because that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can subscribe to. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we're gonna start posting a lot of new things going on, especially now that I can practice again. Like,
yeah.
So that'll be
fun. A couple days ago, I think it was a couple days ago, you said you were getting this feeling about something big coming or something coming up. Any more clarity on that?
No, I don't know if it was just like an upgrade in my member, because now I'm channeling animals, which has never happened before. So I don't know if it was just like an upgrade of my gifts, and not only like can spirits come through and now animals can come through. I don't know. It feels really weird. I've never had animals come through before. Well, I can't say never, but it was very, very, very rare. And lately I feel like it's been tons of animals. Like I'm seeing tons of animals. So
yeah, I think it's really interesting that like the pattern that I'm seeing with the clients that are coming to us and stuff that I'm seeing online is a lot of people talking about and asking about having curses removed, which seems to have just started happening. I mean, people kind of talk about it here and there a lot on social media, like asking questions, but I've seen it a lot, and then we get waves of clients and at doing certain things, and right now it seems to be curse removal.
It seems to be a lot of curse or like evil eye removal or like things like that. We have been getting, it's been very clustered like that though, ever since the beginning. Like clients will come for us to, it's always seemed to be the same thing back to back, and then it'll be like a switch and it'll be like something else. But it does really seem to be very clustered like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder if that's something to do with if the energy going on right now or something is bringing up this, because they're not just curses, they're old curses that have been around a long time.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting that like that's coming up right now for people to have awareness of like these long-standing curses, and it's time to break them and get rid of them and stuff.
That's what
I
I
just
think.
find it
I
interesting.
think it might have, well, I mean, that also comes with like mass awakenings. Like we just had
Yeah.
another one, like, like, so maybe that's what I feel is coming, another mass awakening, maybe, or maybe it
Yeah.
just happens. I mean, I don't really know. There's not really like a timeline on like when we're going to have like another,
Yeah.
big wave of awakening. So, I mean, but the fact that people are now aware of like bloodline curses and acknowledging the energy around them is not just normal energy, which I think is pretty amazing that people are even like open-minded to that, I guess you would say, or like aware of like things that could possibly be going on. It just shows that people are more aware of like, or believing in like, things other than what.
It must be a coincidence
Yeah.
or
Like
stuff like that.
it's just
Yeah.
something, it's just casual, must be a coincidence, must be something happening. Um, but I really do think people are becoming more aware of like energy bodies. So like obviously if it's something that's not fitting in the norm, they're kind of aware that maybe it's something else, or maybe it's a lineage thing, or like where do we go with this? So I think that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Because even
Yeah.
even 10 years ago, people weren't like, it was very like, oh, it's nothing, it's coincidence, my life is just terrible, things just
Yeah.
always happen to my family, like, and now people are like, oh, things are happening in my family, I wonder if it's like a lineage thing or it's a curse, or like, and when I
Yeah.
say curse, I mean like, I'm not saying like, there's some like voodoo doll or something out there of you. I'm just saying like things happen in bloodlines that create basically karmic debt. So,
Yeah. Right.
you know,
Yeah, there's some stuff that happens, pacts and agreements that were made or broken sometimes will cause certain, and depends on the actions of the other people if we're talking about things that recently happened. Um if we're talking about things that have happened before, like things that we're recently coming up to deal with right now,
yeah,
that
yeah,
people have said about curses or something going on that was several generations back, and it happened to be a pact or agreement of some kind that was broken, and then
yeah.
either other
Well,
families take an issue with that, or other people take an issue with that, or it's the pact itself that's broken. Trying to
yeah,
think of some of
we
the
don't.
things, because they haven't always been bloodline ones. There was other
Well,
ones that were
that's true,
actual
yeah.
curses.
But we don't even know what like our lineage was doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we don't even know
Yeah.
what they were out there doing, so for all we know, it could be, like whatever the case may be, like we could have had terrible people and it just
Yeah.
happens to be karmic consequences, like, I mean, but it's really good to see people becoming more aware of it, I guess. So I mean, that's a huge thing.
Yeah. I find it interesting coming off of this Mercury retrograde, if that had something to do with it, because the timing of everything just seems really interesting. Or if
Well, the
it's coming
retrograde
into,
and the full moon.
yeah, or if it's coming into this darker season of the year and that has something to do with it, it's a good time for curse breaking.
Yeah.
Um, we've talked about how to break curses, which it's really difficult to say that in a general sense here while we're talking, like giving people ideas of how to break curses, because they're kind of specific to
The
um
person or
the
the situation.
situation. Yeah, the situation. Bloodline curses though are going to have to deal with your blood, and a lot of the time they take a while to break. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah, definitely don't do it the way I did. It's definitely no, definitely not recommended. And you know what I think is very interesting? Like, there's all these different like um cultures out there that like we really don't know what they did in you know, the 1800s, 1700s, whatever. We don't really know, you know, we know what people say, but like we really don't know. It's not like
Yeah.
any of us were like alive and kicking back then, so it's like who
Right.
knows? You know, who
Yeah.
knows if your great million great back uncle traded a goat for, you know, who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah. It's
It's
just
just wild.
interesting that they keep coming up. The other one is soul contracts, removal of soul
Oh
contracts.
yeah, we have that. Oh yeah, she just texted me again. She wants to do the soul contract before the 25th. So
Okay.
I'll
I'll
have
have to
to,
put up a listing for it because all I have is the download. I'll have to put
yeah.
up a listing.
Yeah, so she wants to do that before the 25th.
Okay.
So we'll get that done for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
If
it's so
anyone is
weird.
interested in
It's so
soul
weird how
contracts,
that's what I'm saying. How everything that's been coming in over the last few days is all around the same thing.
yeah.
Like curses, bloodline curses, soul contract, you know, like breaking soul contracts. Like it's so weird how like out of nowhere you know, because before it was like money or like new love and things like that. Like I want to get this job, things like that. And
Road
now it's all
openings
like,
and stuff.
yeah. And now it's like, I need to break the ties that bind, you know, like it's
Yeah.
weird. It's really, really weird how it's all just weeding out or
Yeah.
coming to the surface, I guess you could say. Like, you know, and I think it's interesting. Think it's interesting how like I think a lot of people are realizing that some of the trauma that they're carrying is not their trauma to carry. You know, she's like,
Yeah.
these are not my issues. Like, why is it affecting my life? You know, like why
Right.
is it, you know, um, especially the last one we just talked to today. She's like, I feel like, you know, other
Yeah.
people around me issues are spewing into my life, which I think is really interesting because you're like aware of like their,
I like how we're learning about how they work because each individual case is so different. So
yeah,
you learn about how these threads bind, like how they connect back through the
yeah.
how they show up, you know, even what people are saying about how they're recognizing that they're cursed at all, and how, you know, and then when we look into it we learn where it came from or how it's affecting their lives and how it all connects.
And like you said, each caseload is so different. Like it's just it's like fascinating. I just,
Yeah.
you know, like I mean they could show me anything, you know, like they could show anything really, and each person has such a different experience with whatever you know, it's just weird. It's just so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. How do you feel about let's talk a little bit about doing magic together, because I feel like the other thing people are talking about a lot that I'm seeing out there a lot is people looking for covens or groups or stuff like that to do. And we can talk a little bit, since this is the first live, about how it happened for us.
um I mean, I think first of all, I think our relationship is not the norm. I don't think, you know, like, I mean, I know people want to join covens and stuff and like that they like the idea of a coven and things like that. But like, I don't think they understand what a coven truly entails. Um, I mean, in order to practice with people, you have to have a similar practice and similar. It's just like going into a relationship. Like you're not just going to date somebody who doesn't have similar beliefs or similar goals, or you know, it's like the same thing. So you really have to like find your people. Like it's not just oh, I like the idea of being in the coven and like, we're just going to go with it. You really have to find your people. And the way we came together is just completely weird. So I mean, yeah, it's pretty interesting how, and especially when like, you had mentioned that you were literally just saying out to the universe or to, oh, I think it was to your husband, and you were like,
Yeah.
I just want somebody that I can practice with who like gets it, who's on the same page as me. And then a couple weeks later, we both end up at the same party, or like however it was.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so weird how that happens.
Yeah. There was somebody who was asking about covens in a group, and one of the things that I told them was that first thing to do about that is to kind of state it to the universe. Let your guides know, let your spirits know that you want other people to work with, that you want more people, like you want a group, and then and to align that, because I don't personally think, it hasn't been my experience that you decide you want to join a coven and go to stuff and find it. I feel like the right people find you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you can go to like, I mean, obviously, like I was going to like different circles and different
Yeah.
groups and different things to see what's out there. But again, like neither of us practice the normal, what's trending, what's normal. Neither of us are in that type of thing. So like our selective people were, I mean, it was already narrow to begin with because
Yeah.
there's not
Other
very many
people tend to
people.
be a mismatch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the energy
So,
has to be right between the practitioners in order to for the spell work and things that you're working to flow, to manifest. If
yeah.
you are working with people who don't practice the same kind of style of magic that you practice, then there's like the energy doesn't flow right in the magical practice.
Yeah, it's
So you
almost
can go,
it's
like I had told the guy, go to go to witchcraft events or like things like that, but don't necessarily go thinking you're going to find,
yeah, like
it'll
we
find you when you're out, you know?
exactly, yeah. Like me in particular, I was just going to different events just to experience different things to like see where I was going with my practice because I mean, I had been told for so long that what I was doing was wrong and I can't do it this way and I can't do it that way. And, working with the darker deities is not the right way. And working with the shadows is wrong. Working with demons is wrong. Working with, whatever. I can't mix archangels with the shadow side. So like after hearing that, it's almost like you kind of just give up and you're like, whatever. Like I'm just gonna be a solitary witch. Like I'm gonna do it by myself. And there's nothing, there's obviously nobody out there for me, and I'm okay with that. And then it's like here you come along, like we both just happen to be at the same place at the same time, not knowing each other, like we just knew a mutual party and we,
Yeah.
our first spell together was literally a hex.
Right. Right.
Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah, when you have to know. So, in anybody who is watching or is curious about it, I call it like a traditional folk witch path, but it's very also chaos magic. It's hard to really pin down exactly, but it's on the darker side. How would you describe like? I mean, I say darker side. The business is called Magia Sinistra because it means um dark magic basically, but it was originally the left hand. Um,
it's just not the traditional. It's going back to old roots. It's not the
yeah.
traditional hug trees and sing kumbaya. It's just we're going back to the roots of where magic originated from. We're using sticks and graveyard dirt and things like that. We're going
Spirit
back
work.
to yeah, we're going back to the spirits of the land. We're using, there's things in magic. Magic is not nor white or dark or light or dark or black or white.
Yeah.
It's just exists. It's everywhere. And like if you can't experience the bad with the good, then how you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what do you always tell me? It's better to be a warrior
Better
in a
to be a
garden.
warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah. So like if you can't if you claim if you say you're a witch, you have that whatever. People can say whatever they are. But how are you going to undo a hex if you can't throw a hex? You
Yeah.
know,
A witch that
some
cannot
hexes,
hex cannot heal.
yeah. Most hexes, I would say, actually, you know what? I would go out on a limb and say all hexes, you can't love and light them away. You can't just hold a crystal and sing kumbaya and think it's going to go
Right.
away because it's not. Because most likely the person who threw the hex knows what they're doing.
Right.
Because people
Yeah, if
aren't
they know how to throw a proper hex, that was one of the things that I had said. There's things out there that you can't undo. You can get rid of like evil eye or jealousy, you know, things that people aren't necessarily intending to, you know, hex you. They're not necessarily intending it. It's just like an energy exchange. You can get rid of that stuff with some of the like, you know, crystals and Reiki and things like
yeah.
that. But if somebody intentionally hexes you, if somebody is putting together the material and sending it intentionally with a working, you can't Reiki that away. You can't sage it
And
away. It's not something that's
especially
going to
if
go
they're
away.
calling in a darker deity, Lilith,
Right.
Hecate, you know, a demon, whatever it may be, especially if they're calling in a darker deity, like you can't, no amount of Reiki is going to
Yeah.
undo that. Like that's a lot of uncrossing work. Like that's a lot,
Yeah.
you know, like you can't just Reiki that under the rug and think it's just gonna be like, oh yeah, I got Reiki done. I'm good
Yeah.
now. Like
Yeah.
that's like putting a band-aid on a gunshot wound. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Well, I find it really interesting. One of the things that I'll say that I find interesting about the path itself that maybe I didn't think was the way it was before was the amount of times that people will come to us to do a hex, right? And it's usually not, and there's not a whole lot of people that come and request a hex done.
yeah,
But when they do, first of all, we always we check with readings, check with card, check with the spirits to get an okay on to do a hex. But the second thing is how often that time hex work is seen, you know, as like a negative thing, as doing something baneful or terrible to another person. But the clients that come that need that kind of work done, it's actually done to
in
better
defense.
their lives. Like
Yeah.
there's
Or,
something going
and
on that's harming them,
yeah.
and the hex work is the
And it's,
thing that stops that.
yeah, it's done in a defensive mode. It's not like, and before we hex, like we're getting a reading to get clarity on the situation because not everybody is always forthcoming or their perception could be whatever. So like you can't lie to mediums or psychics. Like
Yeah.
it does you can't.
Yeah.
So before we're even doing the working, we will, you know, like you said, talk to our team, whatever, talk to the spirit teams, whatever, you know, whoever we have in our team, and we're not just out here just, oh, you cut me off while you're driving, I'm throwing I mean, I probably
I
would, but
mean, we talk about it.
yeah,
We talk
no,
about it, and it's always a
like
no. I find that how often the answer is a no.
the
It's a
answer is, I
no,
think the
Jack.
answer has been a no more time than it's been a yes.
Far more.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're just out here willy nilly, like, you know, being reckless with our magic. Like
Yeah.
these are people, these are domestic abuse survivors. These are, you know,
Right.
like people who are in situations that they can't get out of. Like,
Yeah.
so, you know, we are
Yeah.
just basically leveling the playing field. It's not,
Yeah.
you know, it's not used as oh, my ex-boyfriend cheated on me, I'm gonna hex him. Like,
Right.
we don't. No, this is like,
honestly, we've never even had a client who has come for a hex, which, like, I say has been few and far between. But we haven't even had one that's come that it has been something petty that they were wanting to hex somebody
no,
for. It's
yeah,
always been a very serious situation that was the appropriate step to take.
yeah.
So far in anything that we've done.
I
That,
mean,
and you know what else? Oh, go
I
ahead.
asked about petty situations, but
Right. We do. We ask
yeah,
about them all the time.
yeah, yeah. But again, we are told no very
Far
often
more
because
often.
they're just like, yeah, you're being petty, like, get over it,
Right.
you know?
This is a
But,
you problem. It's not really a spiritual problem. You might feel like it's justified, but it's not actually justified by the universe.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I don't really understand why people are so afraid of it when
yeah,
it's part of it. It's part of embracing the entirety of the craft.
yeah. The other thing that I find very interesting is that I didn't realize before I started working with the public doing them was spirit board readings, like Ouija board readings.
Oh, how people are scared shitless of it?
Most people are. That's not what I so when I started offering spirit board sessions to people, the idea of a spirit board session, what I was thinking was that if you're going to start working with a spirit board and that's what you're wanting to do, but you know, have a lot of this fear that's caused a lot by media and the lore around them and everything like that, that the best thing to do is to find somebody who has actively been working with spirit boards and isn't afraid and knows like how to handle any situation that might come up to do your first spirit board session with. So I started offering them to
Yeah.
clients, thinking that most people were going to do exactly that. I'm just interested in it. I want to experience it. I want to learn how to do it. And so I'm going to come and do it. And, but I'm a little bit scared maybe or something. That's not actually what ended up happening. It was people who have lost someone close to them who were coming, and the amount of spirit board sessions that I've had that have been deeply healing for the people,
Yeah.
because the clients that come for that, I don't necessarily know them. Like I've had a couple that were friends, but or that were acquaintances that I knew a little bit, but most of the people have been people I didn't know at all. And so when they came for the spirit board session, I always tell people, even if I know them, to ask the spirits a question that I don't know the answer to, because the "are you pushing the pointer" is
Yeah,
usually
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
theme.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so they could ask anything. I don't know anything about it. And like it would always tell them exactly what they were asking. And as soon as they did that and they connected with that spirit of a passed over loved one, is generally what it is. The amount of healing that actually came from working with the spirit board, from knowing that this spirit that they were talking with was really like answer, they know that I don't know the answer, and they know that they're not pushing the pointer, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
when
I
the
mean,
answer comes through and they can get closure on that, it's immensely healing, and that I did not
and
anticipate.
that's the thing about the whole thing. It's like there's no way we could know these things and a lot of our clients are not even in the same state as us.
Right.
Like, so it's like, like people are like, "Oh, well, that's not real and that's not this." And that, it's like, listen, there is no way I knew about this person's dead grandma who,
Yeah.
the whole, even with the spirit board, like, there's no way we would know the answers that are coming through.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like, especially when it comes to like past children and things like that, or
Right.
like miscarriages and, things like that. It's just like, how, you know,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. The scenarios that have come up.
And even in our own sessions, when like you and I are on the board doing stuff, it's the same my hands in your hands, right? That
Yeah.
are on the pointer. And when a spirit switches out,
We can
you
feel it.
know immediately.
Yeah,
And
we
that's
know.
wild
Yeah.
to me. It's wild
Yeah.
to me. The
All of
way that the
the
pointer moves will change depending on the spirit,
all of
how they
the
answer,
spirit,
and
and especially when it's a spirit that's not one of our regulars.
yeah.
Because okay, so mostly I think we talked to what, Q mostly, I think.
Yeah.
He
Every once in a
Q
while an angel will pop in.
Yeah. And then I freak out.
Right.
So for those of you who don't know, who are probably don't know because I don't really post much content about or anything at all really about him. Q is my familiar spirit that was sent to me by Hecate. Um, it's a whole story. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But anyway, Q comes in. He's very dominant. He is very. It's kind of very much like a Charmed sisters when they're calling Leo. I
Yeah.
call him and he's there. Like, it's very much like I just say his name and he's there. Most of the times I don't even have to say his name because he knows if I'm on the spirit board, he's going to be the one coming through.
Yeah.
He is pretty fast and fluent moving. He's pretty doesn't really mess around too much with trying to find letters. Like he's pretty, when can I say his name on social media? I don't know if we're at that point. Like,
The Witch King?
yeah. Yeah, we'll just call him that.
Yeah.
When he comes on, it's very direct and to the point. Like it's very
Yeah.
like yes, no, spell out. Like he's not
Yeah.
like Q is very flirty with the pointer, and then the other guy is very like no, like we're not playing this game. Here's your answer. Like I'm done. And he's very short tempered. Like I like to flirt with the other side a lot. So
Right.
when he is on the board, I do not flirt with the other side. Like
Yeah.
I am very like, these are my questions. He'll give us the answers. But he doesn't come on very often unless there's like something that needs to be said.
Yeah.
And it's not just us messing around on the board.
And your mom.
Um,
That's the other one who's been
my
coming through a lot
yeah,
lately.
my mom came through. When she first came through, she was very slow. It was very sluggish. So I started burning ancestor money for her. And then she kind of got the hang of it and started picking up speed. Archangel Gabriel came through. I shit my pants. That was the scariest effing thing I've ever done in my life because I am not a big fan of archangels. I don't know why. I always think they're going to smite me, and it's fine. We're homies now. It's okay. Me and Gabriel are two peas in a pod.
The only one more scared of angels than you are demons. Like demons
I
I can
am.
rock with all day. Angels?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. It, I feel like angels are just snobs, and I don't
Well, I
know.
think this is another misconception that is kind of in society in general. So when you start practicing witchcraft, it feels weird. The amount of times people have asked us about working with demons and angels at the same time because
Yeah.
you're told there's a spiritual war all the time and that they hate
No.
each other and that they don't work together.
And
And
that's
that's
not
not
true.
true. It's
That's
never
not
been
true
the
at all.
experience.
Because literally on my altar, I have Lilith, Hecate, the Witch Father, Archangel Gabriel, and of course, like my ancestors, my mom. So I work with Gabriel on a regular basis now since he's came. Oh my God, he's come through on the board like what, a year ago now?
Yeah, something like
It
that.
feels like it's been forever since Gabriel came in. That was when we first started the business.
Well,
Because
Gabriel came in right after we were talking about naming the
the
business
name of
the
the
Left
business,
Hand.
Left Hand, and then he came
And
on.
then,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
And
was
then
like
after we
confirmed.
got off the board, I was like, Gabriel's
Yeah.
known as a left hand of God. That's very interesting. And he's been around ever since. They also do not necessarily understand common lingo, which is
They
hilarious.
don't, because when I run my mouth to the Ouija board, they sometimes they don't
Sometimes they
comprehend.
don't understand.
like, here's a perfect example. Remember when I said, Gabriel's my homie, and
Yeah.
it literally spelled out like my actual address, like Gabriel's
Right.
at home, and that was when I had just put him up on my altar. So that was pretty funny. We're
Yeah.
just like, what? Like,
Why are you spelling the address?
yeah.
Because
So
he's at
they
home.
actually they don't understand modern lingo, so we have to sometimes kind of reword it to like, because again, when I am talking on the spirit board, and Bree will confirm this all day long, I turn it into a group chat.
Right.
Like, I will be sarcastic, I will flirt with the other side, I will just talk to them like I am in a group chat.
Right.
And sometimes they don't catch the lingo, so we'll have to like reword it. When the pointer just starts going around and around, they're like, we have no idea what you're
We
saying.
don't know. Or they won't
Um,
answer at all.
yeah.
That's the other thing about it is spirit board sessions, questions answered, and how they actually play out in
Oh,
real
let's not.
life.
Yeah, I think my dating life should be a whole nother episode because that's been insane.
But it's not just in the dating. Like I've had those experiences too, where the board will answer your question.
Oh, yeah.
But is it a direct, like something I'm going to recognize when it happens? No, it's
No.
only after it happens that you realize it answered your question.
Yeah. I mean, my dating life has been most of our topic of conversation lately because, well, um, you know, I have a problem with dating. Not really. I just, whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
so like, it'll always say certain things. Like, we were on the spirit board, and I'll just use the last couple, for example. Um, it basically said like the next guy I was going to date is from New York, and it spelled out a villain's name, and I was like, "What? That doesn't even make freaking sense. Like, I don't even know what you're saying. Like, that's so
And
asinine. Like, I don't."
the white rabbit.
And White Rabbit, yeah, and a White Rabbit. And here it turns
And
out that,
Easter.
yeah,
It
and
said something
Easter.
about Easter and
Hmm.
that the white rabbit.
Yeah, the White Rabbit. It said the villain's name, Easter, White Rabbit, and New York. And we were like, "What the hell are you talking about? Like, I'm not in New York. I'm not going to New York. Like,
Right.
whatever." Well, then it ends up like the next guy I met and started dating, very short lived, uh, was from New York. His riding name, he has a motorcycle, so his riding name was that villain's name, and our first date was on Easter, and he got me a basket of flowers, and there was a white rabbit in the flowers, which was like wild. And then we
Yeah.
asked again, and then it came up the next one was going to be Scorpio. And
Yeah. And it's funny because there's been often times when you've asked who will be the one, right? And it'll give you the next one. That was what we had to
it'll give
piece
me the next
together, that
one.
they weren't giving you like the ultimate one you were going to marry. They were giving you who the next one would be. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like the idea of free will. It's like, well, this is the next person coming along.
Yeah,
And
and it hasn't. The crazy part about it is that it hasn't been wrong,
right.
like, so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
Like, because then after that one, it kept saying Scorpio, and now I'm
Right.
dating a Scorpio, which I would never date in my entire life
Yeah.
because,
But I
well,
told you from the beginning it'd be a Scorpio for you.
listen, just saying. It's just
Yeah.
funny how, and the Scorpio's name just happens to randomly come up on the board when we're not even asking about
Yeah.
that. Like, it'll just be like, it's almost like a reassurance, like, this
Yeah.
is where you're supposed to be. Like,
Yeah. My weird one that happened was years ago with the board, that was one of those like you don't know it till you know it kind of things. And I was on the board with somebody else, and that other person was asking about, we both lived in apartments at the time, and with the same apartment complex, and I was over at her house, and she was asking about wanting to buy a house, and it gave her the address, the street, like road and the address of where the house is going to be, or I think it might have just been the street name, because it was the next road over from where the apartment complex was. And I wasn't really paying too close of attention to like the details of it, because it wasn't my question. I wasn't asking. I was just on the board with her. And it answered it. And we even went and walked down that road, and we're looking at the houses and stuff right after it happened. And you know, other stuff happened through whatever. About a year later, my husband and I bought a house, and we bought a house on that road, but I hadn't even remembered that spirit board session at all at the time. I didn't even remember that we had done it. Like it wasn't at the top of my head and on my mind. And I think it was a year after we had lived in that house that I was standing in the kitchen and all of a sudden remembered that spirit board session saying that obviously somebody was going to buy a house, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
her the one asking the question, but I was also on the board. So it answered the question. It
Yeah.
just didn't answer it in the way that you thought it was going to be. Because a lot of people will ask that. They'll ask questions and the board will give them an answer and they're like stuck to it. They're like, yeah, this is what they said. This is what's going to happen. And I'm like, yeah, well, you just wait,
Yeah.
because that doesn't mean it's going to happen that way.
That's what I'm saying. Like it like doesn't necessarily always give you the direct answer you're looking for. And sometimes people are like, I don't understand. Like that doesn't mean anything to me. Give it a couple months and watch what happens, because it will. Like if there is anything I've learned about being on the spirit board, it might not make sense. Like M10, we still don't know what M10 means.
Right.
And that's been coming up on the board for months. So, you know, like it might not make sense in the moment, but give it a couple months and something it'll resonate with you. Like something will just randomly happen where it just like, you know.
Yeah, things will occur. Just don't put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to the spirit board stuff and think that you know what it means. Don't think that you know exactly
Yeah,
how it's going to be,
because you don't. I
it's
can
not.
vouch 100% for that. Like you don't know what's going to happen. Like every time something has come up, I was like, okay, maybe that's what that means. And then they're like, think again, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm just trying to think of what other spirits we've had come through the bar. It's mostly Q. My mom has, Josh's sister has come through.
Yeah.
That was a whole
Archangel
situation.
Michael came through.
Michael came through, yeah. I really shit my pants on that one. I was like, oh, God.
My familiar came through and spoke another language or something.
Yeah. We don't even know what. I think it's a she, right? I don't know. We don't even know
what she was trying to say, but I haven't tried to contact her more for that to be worked out itself. And because a lot of the times you forget all the questions that you were going to ask.
I know. I really think we should like start like making a book, like of Ouija board sessions of like, we really need to make like a book of our questions and then the answers that have come up.
Yeah.
Like we can call it like the Adventures of the Ouija board or something.
Right. Right.
Publish it.
That I bet we would have a lot more stuff that we thought was really accurate, because we forget half of the stuff anyways.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure, because the only thing I fucking pay attention to is my dating life. So I don't really care about nothing else.
Right.
But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. And what's even crazier is then when like we'll ask something and then we'll get the answer, but then like a channel comes through or like something, you know, like it's just wild. Like it's just crazy how that happens.
Yeah,
It's
I
almost
think
like
that the spirit board, the conversation around the spirit board, I think needs to be had a lot more in the witchcraft and occult circles, because it's still so, I don't think that a lot of times, so I've been in the witchcraft game a long time. I was essentially a 90s witch, right? Like, started practicing when I was in my teenage, 12, 13 years old, when you had to buy witchcraft books from Barnes and Noble, right? Like there wasn't, there wasn't, I mean, there was presence on the internet, but we were all pretty new to the internet. So it wasn't like it is today. And even at that time in the 90s era time, you had a lot of people who were still scared of tarot. You know, people used to be scared of tarot the same way they were scared of that you're scared
A
of Ouija
spirit
boards
board.
now.
Yeah. But
That
really,
it
if
was
you
going
think
to
of it,
open a
it's all,
portal, that it was going to summon a
yeah,
demon, that it was
that's what
going
I'm
to,
saying.
you know, all this, that stuff. People were scared of them.
It's really all the same thing. Like, there is nothing that a spirit board is going to do that tarot cards can't do.
Or a pendulum. I got news
Or
for
a
people. A
pendulum.
pendulum is a spirit board for one.
Yeah, like you're opening yourself up to communication regardless. It doesn't matter what's coming in. Like,
Right.
you're still like, okay, you're putting a utensil in your hands and opening that door for communication. Who's to say a trickster isn't going to come through on a pendulum? Who's to say it's not going to come through on your cards? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
people have this idea of like, oh, the pendulum's my higher self, or my cards are my higher self. But that's not necessarily true. You know, you don't know what's going to come
And
through.
the thing that I find interesting about why then, you know, do pendulums not have the same sort of lore around them, or why don't they have the same sort of stories if it's the same thing? And I think it's because they don't have the lore around them that somebody has no fear grabbing a pendulum and asking it.
Yeah.
Or nowadays grabbing tarot cards and asking them, but they have all this remaining fear of the lore that's around
Well, yeah.
spirit
I mean,
boards
look at every
and
movie, every
fear.
horror movie. They're not using pendulum or tarot cards. They're all using
Right.
spirit boards.
A spirit
Like, you
board.
know, I feel like
And so,
I feel like Hollywood has really like blown up that, like, oh, and especially all these ghost hunting shows and all these, you know, documentaries and these things that are like, oh, I was using the Ouija board and my daughter was possessed, and it's like, come on.
right.
Like,
Yeah. That's what happens. And the fear of using a board because of the lore that's around it, and it's not, it is Hollywood and the way that they use it, but then you usually have my aunt's friend's cousin had the Ouija board exploded into flames or levitated or did something crazy kind of story. And I'll
listen,
tell you this, when I read through people's stories when they talk about stuff, um what's actually happening is that the spirit board or Ouija board works, and that in and of itself scares people.
scares people.
That's been
Yeah.
what it's been more often than something actually happening if you
And
dissect the
the
story.
amount of time that we've been on the board and we can't get it to levitate, because let me tell you, if you think that I haven't tried, you're mistaken.
Right.
Like, I will talk shit to my team all day long.
Yeah, but we should caveat that, because you really don't talk shit the same way that you would think of like the paranormal people going in and talking shit and
Yeah.
trying
Well,
to egg stuff
I'm
on.
not instigating.
Not like
I'm
that.
not instigating. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not like, you know, I'm not okay. So yeah, let's fix that, because I forgot. Like, there's so much out there. Yeah, I'm not instigating. I'm not, you know, belittling the spirits. I'm not, you know, telling them the crap or they can't, you know, it's not like instigation or like things like that. Like, I will just, like I said, it's the way you speak to your group of friends. Like, it's very much like, you know, I banter with them. You know, like, it's not, I'm not challenging them like, oh, if you can't do this, you're crap. You know,
right.
like, it's very much like a personal relationship. We banter, you know, like, that's what I'm saying as I talk shit or I talk crap, because it's not like, I'm not like challenging or telling them things like that. But no, it's very much like a playful banter, you know.
Yeah.
And the spirit that comes through the most is Q, and I have like a full-blown relationship with Q. Like, we are very, you know, we speak on a regular basis. He, you know, he's always around me, so he knows my personality. I mean, God, he probably sighed when he got my name as his assignment because he is like,
remember Jack?
wow.
That was another spirit.
Oh, Jack came through. Jack didn't even make it 10 minutes because
No.
I don't know who assigned him to us, but that was the wrong assignment. He came in, he checked in, and he checked out real quick.
Yeah.
Because I am a full-blown brat in real life, and I am a brat on the board. And
yeah, we did kind of give Jack a hard time, and
we did.
But that was kind of Q's fault because I don't know what he was doing, but he had sent Jack. That's what we were told, that he had sent Jack kind of like a messenger. That was the last time that Q sent a
Jack was a messenger. That poor spirit was waving his white flag, and I was just
he was done.
Not he was just out. Like he was like, nope.
Yeah.
Crisis averted. Like I'm not dealing with her. Like no. And then Q did come in after Jack.
But you know, to go from the spirit thing into witchcraft in general, I will say this, that because the one thing that we get questions a lot on, or that I see questions out and about a lot on, is being scared of doing something wrong in witchcraft, right? Like being scared to do something. I just want to do it right. I just want to know what the right way to do it is. So if you're new to witchcraft, or it's something that's new to you, to your practice, you have to know that, first of all, witchcraft is a boots on the ground practice, right? Whether you're jumping on the spirit board or you're just casting your first spell or first couple spells, or you're making an altar, it's boots on the ground. Like it's never going to be perfect, and it's never going to be something that you if you don't do it right or correctly, you're going to summon a demon. Because in the Ouija board thing, let me tell you, demons are not that easy to summon. They're not as difficult as they make it seem to be, but they're not coming in unless you are intending for them to come in. They're not going to answer. Like, they have other shit to do. They are busy. Like, it's not easy to get a demon's attention.
I don't even think we've really gotten many demons other than the main
We've had
one
more
that
angels come through than demons on a board.
Yeah. And like that's what I'm saying. Like, don't think that I'm not trying. Like, because I am the habitual line stepper. Like I just blew out my freaking chakras, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will push the limits to see. I will push the limits because I trust Bree enough to know that she can bring me back if it comes down to it. And B, like, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm very much like fuck around and find out. Like, I want to know what I'm capable of doing. So like, I'm going to find out. And I don't think the depth of the craft that I want to be in, or I want us to be in as a team, they can't teach that in books.
Right.
Like, it's not like something that's in the books. Like we, and that's why I like that we are considered like eclectic, or whatever you want to call it, because we'll take things from different things and we'll make it fit around our practice. Like,
it's actually not like, a lot of the times when I'm putting something together, it's not so much taking things from different books. It's not like I have books out and I'm taking things. It's like I've been working on this spell, or putting this spell together, and then my spirits are telling me to do this or that. Add call these other spirits in here, or do this kind of work in here, or add this sort of herb in here, or something like that.
Well,
so you develop this communication with your spirits,
that's what I was
and
just
then
about
they
to say.
teach you.
Our team, our practice is very much guided by our team. Like, we are just along for the ride on the bus. Like, our team is driving. And like, that's it, like,
which is why it ends up being a boots on the ground practice. Like, you don't even have to know who your team is to know that they have your back. You don't have to have their names. They'll reveal themselves as you go.
I don't know my team. All I know is Q, because I've had
Q, Lilith, Hecate, Witch King.
Yeah, but that's not like I don't know my guides. Right. Like, they don't have names. Like, it's not like I'm like, yo, Fred.
Right.
You know, like, it's just he's just my team,
Yeah.
you know, like my guides, my guardians, my
It's kind
archangels.
of like, this is the kind of way that I think about it. It's like, you know, every child, especially in English speaking countries, every child says mom, right? Every
Yeah,
child says mom. But you know when your child is the one saying mom.
yeah, because you know their voices. Yeah,
You know them,
I am.
right? And it's kind of like that when you're reaching out to your spirit team. It's like that. When you are the one reaching out to them, even if you don't know their names, they can hear your call the same way that a mother hears their child say mom and knows they're talking to them. It's
Yeah,
kind of like that. And you can acknowledge them, you can have an altar, you can communicate with them before you even really know their names. And
yeah. Like I
they
don't
will then
know.
reveal themselves in time if they're
And I
going
don't
to.
even, you know, like I was adopted, so I don't even know my ancestry. I don't know my lineage. Like I don't know my
Yeah,
family history. So like when I'm calling upon my ancestors, they obviously know I'm of their lineage. So
yeah,
I'm not like, "Hey, Aunt Tammy," because I don't know
yeah,
who they are. So
yeah,
I just call upon my ancestors. Like it's not, you know,
yeah.
you don't have to know
Right.
who's in the line. You just
Yeah.
ancestors. Like
To
that's
know your
enough.
ancestors. Right.
Yeah.
So you start working with those, you know, your spirits in a general sense like that on your altar and developing a relationship with them and talking to them. Not everything has to be formal and trusting what they're saying. Like the sign doesn't have to be loud and intense for you to follow that sign because the more you trust it, the more that it comes.
But
And
the more you
at the
trust
end
it,
of the
the
day, it's a
louder
boots
it
on the
gets
ground thing. You
also.
have to figure it out. And you know what? You will figure it out. And then you'll know how to deal with it. I know how to deal with banishing spirits because I got on the spirit board back in the day and something came through that was tricking us about the situation and became more and more and more intense as the time went on to realize like this can't be this spirit who it's saying it is, and then we had to get rid of it, and then I knew how to get rid of spirits, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
The And sometimes they will pop up, but it's not necessarily a witchcraft thing. I had a shadow man situation. My son called him the Hat Man in my house a long time ago. And that's how I learned how to get rid of spirits. It wasn't because it was in a book, it's because it happened. You respond, and now you know how to deal with it. So when people are really very worried about that kind of stuff, the best thing a lot of the time to happen is that something happens and you figure it out.
I
Then you
mean,
know how to get rid of it.
look what just happened over the weekend. We did a reading for a client and she had a spirit who was
Right.
sent to her and it ended up not necessarily threatening me, but I was literally driving and I have like little plushies on my dashboard that I whatever, and they have not moved in years. I've had this car for 10 years. They've been there the entire time and they have not moved. And literally after this reading when I was like I don't know, halfway to my destination, they literally flew across my car, like, and then I saw her in the passenger seat and I was like, "Nope, get out." Like we you know, it's not that she was challenging me, she was just making her presence known that, you know, and I was like, "No, like I am
Yeah.
not the, you know, like I'm not the one, you know."
Right.
But I mean, a lot of people are so afraid when things like that happen that I don't think they really know how to respond.
Right. Yeah, that's what. And to be fair, you can do all the rituals in the world. You can have, well, first of all, sage doesn't get rid of negative spirits, so
Oh
that's
god.
useless. But
Now you just opened a whole nother can of worms. Now we're gonna have comments like
well, it
crazy.
doesn't. Sage is not to exercise your like to get rid of demons or some sort of negative spirit. And I mean that's kind of a proven thing, because if you are in any groups, you will see people consistently say, "I saged my house, it didn't go away." Sage is something that clears out a cumulative negative energy or something like, you know, things along those lines. If it's an entity of some kind, sage isn't the thing that's going to get rid of that entity. But to say all that, you can do an entire ritual. You could have a priest come and bless. You could bless it with holy water. And unless you are claiming your own authority and sovereignty in your space,
Yeah.
and you're doing it with conviction, it doesn't matter what you have. So in that respect, you could use sage and get rid of it because it's not
Yeah.
about the sage, right?
Yeah.
So you
No,
could use salt and
it's
get rid of
about,
it. You could like really honestly, people overlook the power of salt when it comes to that kind of stuff anyways. But it's not in the tools and it's not in the rituals. It's in, you can do all those things, and if you're doing it weak or scared or doubting yourself, it's still not going to work. And you
yeah.
can tell it just to get the fuck out, and you're
And
standing in your authority, and
that's
it
what
will
happens.
work.
Like with the spirit that popped in my car the other day, I didn't sage my car. I was just like, no, like this is my space. You ain't gonna fucking be in here. Like, bye.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I haven't had any issues since. Like, it was just kind of like, I
Right.
really think it was trying to like intimidate me and being like,
Right.
you know, but
Yeah.
hey, what?
Yeah.
Get out of here. You know?
Right. Yeah. And that tends to be, and of course it would be driving down the freaking highway in an argument with a spirit
No,
in your
I wasn't
passenger
even on a
seat.
highway. It was so weird because I was literally in the back ass country woods in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and it literally flew, and I was just like, ugh, you know. And of course, there's like
Yeah.
cornfields everywhere. I'm like, oh great, now Malachi is gonna come out of the
Right.
you know, out of the cornfield with a freaking sickle in his hand. What are
Right.
they called? Sickles? Sickles? No, what are they called?
Yeah. You talking about the reaper hook?
No.
The
Yeah.
scythe?
The site, yes. Sickles? I think it's the same thing, a sickle. I think. Or maybe that's the reaper. No, yes. No. I texted
Harvesting
Autumn
tools.
today. God, my have kids, they said it'd be fun. Talk about if I knew then what I know now.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so the witchcraft stuff, it's all of that stuff is boots on the ground. It's stuff that you learn as you're doing it, and then you learn how to
And
deal with those situations.
this is why like I'm excited to get like a storefront if like when we do get one, because like we are going to be there in person with people, so it's like we can kind of like, you know.
Yeah, you talk through a lot of that stuff. But you know,
Yeah.
the one I think underutilized service that we have in the store is the witchcraft coaching and consulting, because
Yeah.
the coaching is meant for like, I don't know where to start my practice, and kind of an ongoing sort of
Or even
structure that you want to
or
set, and the
I don't know.
consulting is like, I want this specific
Yeah.
question answered, or I want this specific spell. How do I do this particular spell? Like if you're new and
Or
you need to
even like
hex somebody,
I
but
got
you have never hexed anyone before and
yeah.
you don't know exactly what to do, that's like a consulting session. They're shorter
Yeah.
and cheaper,
Or
and
even like
they're
I
one
got
off.
myself into some shit. How do I get myself out?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like so I think that's, you know, I think they're good things to have in there because there aren't very many things. I mean, I don't really think there's anything that I would be afraid of confronting, really. I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not, I don't really scare easily. I know you definitely don't. So I don't think if somebody messaged us and was like,
Yeah.
you know, I did a lamb sacrifice and now I'm seeing the devil, like, how do I, you know, like we'd be like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
not,
It
not
hasn't
that we're
been.
about sacrificing animals because we are not about
No.
sacrificing animals, but I was
But
just
you did
using
some
that as an
shit,
example.
and now you have some shit
Yeah.
you're dealing with, or something.
Yeah. We definitely don't sacrifice animals or babies
No.
unless it's
No.
semen
No.
because well,
Freaking bugs flying around my face. Is your foot still itching?
no, I do have a couple of bites that are like kind of like welted,
Yeah.
but they don't, it's not bothering me. So thank God for
Or
witch
the story
hazel.
of when you wander into a graveyard, find a labyrinth, and so you decide to walk it and open a portal? That kind of
Well,
shit, you know.
I feel like
What we do.
we always just, I don't know. I feel like we're always just getting into some bullshit. Like I swear, like our team just throws us on these wild goose chases. And like, you know what? Maybe that's what we should start making videos of. Like, we came out for 3 effing things and
Right.
none of it worked. And then we found this random cemetery and we just found a random labyrinth in it and we decided to walk it and get eaten alive by.
A lot of the times I have wanted to film like vlog style things while we're out doing stuff, or like when we were at the expo, but then things happen or we get busy or whatever the case is.
I know, we should just get like a GoPro and just like strap it to our head. And then that way we don't have to worry about
for the next time that we're lost in the freaking woods because we went off trail.
Oh my God. That's what I'm saying. Like, no, we didn't go off trail. Let's take that back a couple notches.
We followed not a trail?
Did not go off trail. The trail ended and we had to figure out our own trail to get across Middle Earth.
The Nada trails.
And then the balloon. Yeah, see, there's so many things that we could like, we should really like make a list of things. Like we should really be like, okay, no, we need GoPros. I'm getting a GoPro.
Yeah. At this point, we just have to edit it down later.
Yeah.
If Mercury retrograde didn't steal my fucking computer as a sacrifice, next time, that's what I've said over and over. I'm not dealing with Mercury retrograde again, raw dogging it. I'm banishing that bastard as soon as he goes retrograde next time. Not even playing with it this time.
I'm trying to drag Mercury retrograde out for very different reasons. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my internet went down today. My internet and my phone. So who knows?
Yeah.
But hopefully, I'm tired of retrogrades. What? I texted Autumn today. Calling her is not going to do anything. Okay, but I told you it takes a while. I know you didn't. We just mailed it out last week. Yes, we did. Yes. It was literally on Thursday or Friday when you and Porter went out. Was it? Yes, it was. No, you didn't. You mailed it out with Porter.
No, I didn't. I mailed your stuff out.
Okay, so it's been 2 weeks.
She has an emergency while we're live. Maybe she thinks we're just chatting on.
I don't know what to tell you. I texted her today. There's nothing else I can really do until they get back to me.
I can pay for my license.
Little dog.
No.
I know.
No. Why would you? Anything else? Before I put you in a jar in the cemetery? Because you're getting on my nerves. Oh, here we go with I'm just angry today.
Yeah. Well,
you know.
Whatever. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Fine. Figure it out.
Anyway, it's been an hour.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't deal with kids.
We can be done with this live if you want to now. And we're going to be doing every Monday. I don't know exactly what time, probably the same time.
I don't know. We need to call it something like Manic Mondays. Because I feel like I'm always manic on Monday. Like there's always it's just Monday. Like it's just some bullshit always on a Monday.
Well, we could do it another day, but you said Mondays were the days that
No,
you had.
yeah, because I work at night. My fucking stupid ass 9 to 5.
Yeah. 5 to 9. 5 to
3 to 7.
Noon. Yeah.
All right. Signing off.
Okay. Alrighty. We will see everyone later. Subscribe, like, do all the things, I guess.
Or not. Whatever you want to do.
I got to figure out how to stop it. So I don't know what the hell I'm saying.
Oh, God.
I don't know how.
Wait.
No, all it's doing is making circles. Maybe it's this one.